So I get to support.
We want them to hear us down there.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Haley Hill. I'm not a public speaker. I'm just a passionate and dedicated employee from Airbus that cares about my fellow coworkers and their families. And when I heard the announcement on Wednesday, I was heartbroken. The reason we're here today is not against the vaccine. It's not an anti-vaccine movement. We're here today to hold the line against the anti-American movement that's happening in our country. And it's affecting us right now at home. I can honestly say that I'm ashamed that it took this long for me to get involved in what's happening. Because I have a next door neighbor, a single mom, a Navy veteran with 2 small girls. And this affected her before it did me. But it didn't become real until it affected my household and my ability to put food on the table for my 2 boys and my stepdaughter. So thank you all so much for being here. Let's be clear about one thing. There is no law in place right now requiring companies to issue these types of ultimatums, these types of unconstitutional ultimatums to its employees. We're here today to represent and to preserve the true Airbus cultural values and American liberty. We're gathering as a sign of strength for each other and against oppressive forces. That's a little bit about myself, guys. We have some talking points for today. We also have a couple people that we've invited to speak, and we're very thankful that they've come here to do so today. So I'm gonna turn it over to Adam to let him introduce who he's brought here. Thank you so much.
Hey, I hope y'all don't mind. I'm not going to get up there because I don't know if OSHA's nearby. I think that's an actual, if I'm still at work or not, whatever. So, can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'll give it a minute. All right. As Haley said, this is not against the vaccine. I'm sure we have plenty of people here who had the vaccine. Doesn't matter. It's none of my business. I haven't. That's none of your business unless I want to tell you or get it. That's what we're here for. Okay, this is not a law. It's not even a good idea. I've made a letter. We have a meeting tomorrow with Daryl, and as soon as I hand him that letter, we have a discussion. I can tell you right now, I'm going to ask him right to his face to put a stop to it. I don't know if he has the power or the desire to do so, but we'll know for sure tomorrow. And I'll release that letter after I give it to him. Okay? I'm really, really encouraged to see so many people here. I really feel like there's more people that maybe want to be here. Maybe they're still a little afraid. Maybe they're working the evening shift. But this is very encouraging to me, and I appreciate everyone being here. We do have some guests that I've invited. Pete Reen, I'm going to let him come up here and speak for himself.
Thank you, Adam. Y'all are probably wondering who the old man is. I actually go way back with Adam, back when I was in the Navy Marine Corps Reserve Center, Mobile. He was 3rd Force Marine. That was over 15 years ago right here in Mobile.
Not a recovery.
But he was there he hung out with him. But anyway, we go all the way back. Fast forward after retiring, just so you put it in context, after I retired, the South Alabama Tea Party movement, Common Sense Campaign, I was one of the co-founders in 2009. And I'm only sharing that to say I've been part of grassroots resistance to tyranny since then. We've fought a lot of battles. And Adam wanted me to come out and just give a little respect. Let me ask you this. I think all of y'all love your jobs, don't you? Yeah. Love your families, don't you?
Love the people we work with.
You love your country. Folks, this is, as everybody has said already, it's not about the vaccines. This is about freedom. And this is about how far can they push into your personal lives. How far can they limit your liberty where you just got to suck it up and take it? The bad news is they will never stop
No.
Until we say stop. Okay? Nothing stops until it faces resistance. They have overplayed their hands, and that's why what Adam said, you should be encouraged at the numbers that are out here. Okay? You can make a difference. Let me tell you, the bad news is your government and your elected officials do not care what you think. But they are afraid of you. And they don't want you to know. Your employer may or may not care about what you think, but they want to make money. And they will only take these woke or politically correct or whatever you want to call it stances until it hurts their bottom line. And the reason I'm telling you this is when you are making money and you have a highly oiled machine out here that makes a lot of money in a very, very sophisticated way, when you start, seriously, can they really, because you're seeing it, you can't hardly hire anybody, right? Hiring is difficult. Can they stand to lose 10% of their workforce? How about 20? How about 30? How about maybe 40% of the workforce is going to walk out the door? Step back and think about that. They've got you scared about, oh, maybe your paycheck. But if they start sensing 10, 20, 30, 40% of the workforce is working out the door, you know what? They're calling all those people that ordered airplanes and going, hey, guess what? We're not delivering when we said we're delivering. They do not want to have those conversations. Proof in the pudding. What did Delta do?
Back down.
They backed down because their people said no. Southwest looked like they were going to fight it out. What did they just do?
Back down.
They backed down.
Keesler Credit Union, they just backed down today.
Today, if they see that the people are going to dig in, and it doesn't have to be a fight, just say no. We're not doing this. We're not going any farther because we know you will never stop. There is safety in numbers, and the point I just want to encourage you is you do have a voice. And just the fact that you have banded together. Look, y'all have come from all these different shifts, and you may or may not know each other out there, but now you have a common person in your purpose, in your own liberty, and the freedom for your family to choose what you want to do about your own health care. And that's none of their business. I think you will prevail. Now the other side, before I get off of here, I want to make a quick point. That's about the government. The government's very much controlled by big business and money. Because you got to remember, your elected official has one purpose in life, and that is to get reelected. Okay? So anything that could interfere with reelection, that's a problem. Big business has it over you because they flood lots of money, right? So while your elected officials will look at you and they'll nod, and they'll agree and say, boy, it's terrible. And they'll say, yeah, we support you. But then when it comes to the nut cut, to the voting up there, they'll find some parliamentary procedure, so they'll thwart you. And those of you who are familiar with Common Core, the state of Alabama has promised to get rid of Common Core for over 10 years and still haven't done it. And they're not going to do it because they're liars. You can't outspend the money, but you can scare them. If they start to think that this is a passionate voter issue, they will back down. And I will tell you, and I know this is apples and oranges, y'all remember the toll bridge?
Yeah.
Toll bridge didn't get taken away by money. The toll bridge got taken away by 50,000 people on social media who scared their living you-know-what out of the elected officials. And they backed down. It wasn't money. It wasn't smart lawyers. It was actually social media. I'm sharing this because the other side of this that would actually, because a good thing to do is give your employer excuse. And the other side of this to give your employer excuse is Alabama pass a law like Texas, like Florida, that prohibits vaccine mandates, that you cannot force people to take this. And I don't know why we have to keep following Texas and Florida. It's time for Alabama to lead. But That has been introduced in Montgomery, HB31. It can happen. But that goes back to what I just said. Y'all are all out here now, and it's kind of hot, but there's one more thing you got to do. You all have a state representative, a state senator, and a governor. And every one of you and everybody you know needs to call him and ask him, why are you not supporting and passing the Health Freedom Act? Now they'll brush you off and you won't think that you've gotten very far with the nonsense and it'll sound like a canned response. But I'm telling you, if everybody here, and then you get 2 more friends and all the people, I'm going to introduce Teresa here in a second to give you the update. If they do that, they will start paying attention. You will see this thing moving up. And I'm going to turn this over to Terresa Taylor, who, oh, by the way, who's a Gold Star wife, United States Coast Guard, and she also, the only bad thing she does in her life is she co-hosts Common Sense Radio every Thursday night on FM 106.5 with me. So other than her association with me, she's a great American. Her and her, I'll let her tell about the group. They have done the heavy lifting on this bill to get your state government to work for you. You just have to jump on board, get on the team. Teresa's teed it up. Y'all gotta run it in. Teresa.
Thank you. I supervise me on the show.
Yes, that's my supervisor.
Teresa, you want to get up
Sure.
See, I was thinking
No
about
problem.
doing that, but I figured it'd be very embarrassing. so I
Teresa
didn't
Taylor,
try.
Gold Star wife, United States Coast Guard. My husband went to work one night and he didn't come home. Serving this country, it's been 10 years ago. I raised 2 teenage boys alone, and I'd be danged if I'm going to sit here and let this country go to waste for what he died for. And I work every day. I've been along with Pete and Steve and some of these for years, fighting these fights. But now it's real. Now it's different. Like she said, it's hit home for all of us. And guess what? It's not going away. This is not just something that's going to pass. So again, the good news is everybody's upset. You want to do something. It's easy. Health Freedom Alabama. If you have your phone, I'd pull it out right now. Health Freedom Alabama. You can sign up. We will connect you to things like, okay, today's action item is call Governor Ivey and say this. It'll pop into your phone as a text message. We have an awesome Facebook page. A lot of us, that's what we use to communicate on. These women and men have been working on HB31. It is a beautiful bill. It's been filed. We just need to get Kay Ivey's attention to put it in session and get the dang thing passed. Again, they fear those that they respect. Well, they don't respect us just because we say so. They know if you can demonstrate there's a bunch of angry voters in Lower Alabama, they do pay attention. They might not say so, but they are. So again, Health Freedom Alabama will spoon feed you what you need to do. It's actually pretty easy and it's kind of exciting once you see that your voice does matter. And that's all I have. Great to have you guys. I thank you all for coming out. Keep going. It's just started.
Let me just say real quick, you didn't say it. That bill got introduced how long ago?
Oh gosh, just maybe 6 weeks ago.
And how many sponsors you got?
I alone gathered 2 in
But,
one
I mean,
afternoon just
right,
by calling.
and
But now we're up to 32.
32 sponsors. Folks, that's actually incredible. The grassroots people got a bill written, introduced in the State House with 32 sponsors in 6 weeks. In 6 weeks.
The powers in that
It usually
state
takes 6
legislature.
years.
That's it. Yep.
Do we have who those people are? Because I'd like to call them and say thank you.
She has it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sign
let's
up
do
for
that.
Health Freedom Alabama. You have to sign up for the noses. Follow our Facebook page. We need an army because we're all grassroots. We don't have big business money. In fact, big business is kind of working against us. But none the matter. We have enough voices. They listen. And again, the work's being done. We just need an army of people who agree and want to do something. So join us all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, sponsors. Oh, I have the list. Hold on. I can't
just
think of
think,
them
I
off
think,
the
you know,
top
a
of
lot
my
of
head,
times
but I
we
have.
call people that we want to action, but we don't thank the ones that have already done it. So.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's actually all on the Facebook page, but yeah, and I can't remember them all off the top of my head. But some of ours here locally do
Maybe I will use this. be leaders. We don't need to be a nation of followers, and we need to teach our kids that. That's why my two boys are here today. So just want to drive that point home one more time while I have everybody's attention. The stakes in this battle are too high for any of us to back down or to comply. Whatever your choice is, that's your choice, but we don't comply because we are Americans. We were born in the United States, or we have choose to come here and work in this country because we enjoy and depend on the freedoms that are granted to us by the Constitution. This impacts all of us. We know that, especially our children, whether you're vaccinated or not. I don't think I need to elaborate on that. Everybody here understands that. When you stand up for what's right, people will follow. Don't go quietly. Don't tiptoe around this issue when you talk about it with your colleagues, your neighbors, your parents, your friends. It might be a hard conversation to have, but the necessary ones really are. I've had to have some very difficult conversations about what seem like unimaginable scenarios with my young boys, about the things that they might have to be prepared to do one day to stand up and protect their freedom for their children and their children's children. But we have to have those conversations. 20 years ago, I was at Van Cleve High School, and I was taught to be a patriot. It runs through my veins. I'm telling you guys, our kids are not hearing those messages in their schools anymore.
No.
If they're not getting it from us, they're not getting it from society, they're not getting it from social media, and they're not getting it in the public schools that our tax dollars and our hard work goes to fund. So please keep that in mind. And for those of us that sit next to somebody at work, or maybe have someone in our home that doesn't quite have the strength or the courage or the wisdom to stand up and do what's right, don't be angry. You look at them and you explain that it's okay, because for every American out there that doesn't have the strength, the courage, the audacity, or the wisdom to stand up and do what's right and protect their own freedom, the people here today are going to do it for them. And that's what makes this country great. So, like everyone said, please sign in with Karen. If you haven't, the ladies at the table, get information on how to call your representative. Please look at the poster below and follow that link to jump on board with the action that these wonderful ladies have already got in place, because I can tell you this is a tireless fight. I haven't slept a good night since Wednesday, and I know that all of you feel the same. I know, Jordan, I see it on your face yesterday. This is exhausting mentally, physically, emotionally, but nothing matters more. There's nothing that unites people like going after their freedom. So check in with Karen, call your representatives. We have scripts available. We have all types of resources available on how to fill out medical and religious exemption forms if you're looking for that. We have an ideas box. I spray painted it bright yellow like my hat so you can't miss it over there. Please leave feedback, comments, whatever it may be. I encourage you to reach out and share your thoughts, because this is not a me thing. This is an us thing. Tell everyone you know about this cause and how much it means to you and how much it means to them. Sign the petition. All Airbus direct employees, temp hires, contractors, vendors, spouses, anybody who is part of the greater Airbus family, please sign the petition that's going to be presented to Terresa Taylor tomorrow, along with the letter that Adam Mayo so eloquently wrote for us. Adam Mayo and Axel Simonetti are speaking on our behalf tomorrow in the meeting with Terresa Taylor, excuse me. So that's something important for everybody to know, that you have two courageous leaders going to speak on your behalf tomorrow. And I have the utmost respect for both of these gentlemen. Sign the petition to Alabama's governor, of course. I did hear that Kay Ivey will be at University of South Alabama next week. I'm trying to get the details on that. Maybe that's something you can help with.
We will help with that.
Excellent. So I think we all ought to be there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I like that.
Excellent.
Take a day off and go.
That's it. Hey, I'm on PTO all this week because I was so disgusted to my core after Wednesday. I can't step foot back on that workplace. I commend every single one of you that have to work in that condition right now. It's not pleasant. I know it's not. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. You can buy Don't Tread on Me bump caps or hats to cover your bump caps as a sign of strength. You can paint Don't Comply on your car's rear window. You'll see some of them painted here. I have a nice artwork done to mine with the syringe and all that, so if you want me to help you do something crazy, I will. I have the window paint on the table over there. Tomorrow at lunch break, we're going to have a horn sounding at 11:05 in the north parking lot. I figured that was a good time towards the end of the A220 lunch break and kind of at the start of the A320 that everybody go out in the horn. go out to the parking lot and sound your horns for 5 minutes. And then a meeting in Arlington Park right here again on Thursday at 3:30. I'm going to hand it over to Adam and then open it up if anybody wants to discuss or address the larger group.
Y'all pardon me for running my mouth one more time. I have three main things, four actually I want to say. First, I think, not positive, but it's my impression that Haley Hill was the first one to throw herself out in front.
Sure.
That's bold, guys. Because had she done so, and none of us were standing here, she'd be unemployed right now. I promise. Okay? Second thing is, again, our purpose here, we're not after Airbus. We're not after any people. We would like to see them reverse this mandate. And whether it's because of a state law that may or may not be passed in time, we would like to see the state do that either way. Because I was telling someone earlier, I love Alabama like my mother, okay? I really do. And I would like to see us lead more often. I'm tired of following Texas. I got friends in Texas. They constantly call me, where y'all at? Absolutely. And thank you again to the ladies and Pete Ring for coming out. I'd like to see us get more people out that are out in the community making things happen. I want to see us begin to be those people out there in the community making things happen. And the last thing I'm going to say is everybody I'm looking at right now, and I'm putting myself out there saying this, and it sucks. And I wish I didn't have to say it, and I hope it doesn't come true, but nobody out here stop. You've already started. Don't stop. What I don't want to do is keep everybody out here in the sunlight. I do want to make sure that every single person that's come out goes to visit the table. Get on record, get the information. There's additional call lists over there for all the local lawmakers, federal, state, and the governor's administration. But I'm going to lay this microphone down, and anybody that wants to come up here, if there's something on your heart, by all means, grab it and say so.
I have a question, actually 3 questions.
Yes.
Number one, about what percentage of the FAL are against mandates? Number two, this is to Kaylee directly. Does Kaylee have counterparts in the other divisions of Airbus like her, where we can form a larger group of Airbus? And then number three, have we thought about maybe merging our efforts with the Boeing workers and everyone else in the aerospace industry? Maybe creating like an aerospace workers against mandates group in general, nationwide, to resist this thing?
I believe that exists. Yes, we are. And if you have ideas or contacts, join the group. We have a Facebook group going on as well. I know a lot of people are against Facebook. Sorry to try to jump in, but on that point number 3. So yes, we are thinking about trying to do all that.
Southwest, they're striking and they're making an impact. So whatever they're doing, Boeing and we should be mimicking their example, right?
It's about everybody using their network.
Grassroots, man. We're just getting started. It's our second meeting.
Totally agree with that. And if anyone has any ideas, if you know anyone that are at other companies, and I wouldn't stop particularly at the aviation industry.
No.
Anyone I'm willing to talk to who's having the same problem. Now, number one, I don't know. I think some of the ladies would know better than me the percentage of employees that we have. I think that it'll be false, because I think there's so many people over there that aren't here that would really rather be. So I don't know the answer to that, though.
Okay.
Just wanted to bring up the blowing the horn tomorrow. We're going to reschedule that because the people that need to hear it won't be in a place to hear it. So we will let everybody know when we're going to do that. So
I'm loud enough. Talk to the contractors. I'm a contractor. Contractors work. I have people that work for me, with me. We've got kind of a shot in the dark late email one night on Friday. I just talked to the grounds contractors. They don't have a clue. I talked to another group that was out there that are grounds contractors. They don't have a clue. They don't even know what's happening. So it's going to sneak up and hit the contractors before we even know what happens, and we'll be forced out with y'all, and we won't even know that it's happened. So talk to people, be a little more vocal, especially those people that aren't direct Airbus, because I can tell you right now, the way it's come down from Airbus, it's been a little alarming. So just be prepared and try to help out and spread the word a little bit, because not everyone knows.
Hey guys, I want to tell y'all a little bit more about the religious accommodation. It's through Title VII of the U.S. Civil Rights Act. Okay, we already have that right. So we are not asking for an exemption. We are already given that exemption. We are asking for an accommodation. We want to invoke our religious exemption for whatever reason. You do not have to be a Christian. You do not have to specify your religion. All you have to say is that I want to invoke my exemption with the U.S. Title VII Civil Rights Act. Okay? Airbus, by law, cannot, all the law allows is a limited inquiry. Okay? If they continue to push and push and push, asking you about your religious accommodation request, then they are creating a hostile work environment for you. The law protects you in that. Every one of us. You don't have to go to church. They have absolutely no right about your church membership or your church attendance. Okay? That is listed on the religious accommodation request form. They have no right. Do you remember back in the spring of 2020, the government shut down the churches? They told us we couldn't go. It was not safe to go. So why are they coming back and asking for my membership and where I'm attending? They have no right, because they shut me down and I attended online with my family. I listened on the radio. Okay? They have no right. Also, one thing I want to talk about, they talk about your sincerely held religious beliefs. How can they prove that? How can they choose one religion over another religion? If it's sincerely held by me, how can they judge that? They cannot. Airbus is not the judge of my religious beliefs. And so no matter where you stand with your religious beliefs, I urge you to fill out this form. Make them tell you no. If they tell me no, and they cannot prove my actions or my behavior, okay? If I tell them that I choose not to get the vaccine, and they tell me that I have to, law protects me. If they create a hostile work environment for me or try to move my job, law protects me, and I can go to the state civil rights authority and file a complaint against Airbus. So be informed. Look at Title VII of the U.S. Civil Rights Act. There's a YouTube link that Peggy Hall used to teach about that. Guys, it's an hour-and-a-half long video. It's phenomenal, teaching you about your rights, okay? Look it up. Fill out this form. If you have needing help with the form, seek out somebody on the leadership team that we have formed here, and we will help you.
In case anybody's not on the communication, we've been communicating primarily through Facebook. Get with Jordan, get with Adam, get with myself, and we'll get you added to that. I know a lot of people have a untasteful disdain for Facebook, and I totally respect that. So if you can't communicate on Facebook or don't want to create a fake account, get with either of us, Karen also, and leave your email address, and we'll get you on the email chain.
We can leave the form to email, so we can start communicating. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Glenn Ramos. I am an engineer over there at the center. I have some colleagues here also as well in attendance. Unfortunately, it's not the numbers I would like to see, but we're here to support your overall goal here. I just want to take a few minutes here and discuss something I had discovered. This is prior to the Wednesday bombshell that was dropped on us. I did some digging around, and some of you may be aware of this, some of you are not, but I think it's really important information, at least in my opinion, So prior to the bombshell, it was the Friday before, Friday afternoon. I was kind of doing some digging around, and I've always had my suspicions of our illustrious CEO, Jeff Niddle. So I typed in, now some of you may not believe this, some of you may believe in this stuff, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So I typed in Jeff Niddle, New World Order. Came up, found out that our illustrious CEO, and I also mentioned this in the company chat on Wednesday, is a member. Actually, he's the executive vice chair of it's called the Atlantic Council. Now, the Atlantic Council has a whole host of individuals, also including Scott Kirby, the current CEO of United Airlines. This group is essentially the American wing of, I'm sure you guys heard this in the past few months, the World Economic Forum, WEF. And if you haven't heard of the WEF, I would suggest you start researching them, specifically Klaus Schwab. There's a nice, lovely 90-second video about the 8 predictions by 2030. You really need to see this video. Really need to see a bit, because all this is happening right now is all rolled up into what's happening right now with these vaccine mandates. It's all part of the plan, okay? For example, prediction number 1. In prediction number 1, they essentially state that you will not own anything by 2030. You will rent everything and you will love it. And they actually go into detail how they're going to do it. Prediction number 2, the U.S. will no longer be a superpower. We will fall by the wayside. Number 4, they actually say this stuff. This is a legit commercial. They actually talk about you not eating beef or steak. It'll be a luxury. We will provide it to you if you are good. Folks, this is crazy stuff here we're talking about here. This is not about vaccine mandates. This is about an existential threat to our freedom and democracy. These people, like Jeff Niddle, they're part of the globalist cabal. That's what it boils down to. These people think they know better than us. They think they can run our lives. You have to be aware of what they're up to. Now, some of the other members of the Atlantic Council, illustrious members, includes Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger is one of the patriarchs, the architects of the New World Order system. I can't remember his quote exactly verbatim, but I believe he said something to the fact that the illegal things we do right away, the unconstitutional ones, takes a longer time. These people are not interested in our rights, our freedoms. The only thing they are interested in themselves and their people. As far as they're concerned, we are the useless eaters. So please, do yourself a favor. Research the Atlantic Council. They have articles on there where they talk about initiating a global immune system. Let me repeat that again. A global immune system, Atlantic Council.
Also, guys, search for Club of Rome. You're gonna see all kind of faces in there, and if you search, the members are on the list. Those are the people that run the show.
Hey, Greg, why don't you talk a little bit about what this looks like from your past?
Please, let him finish.
Okay, very well. So, I mean, this group, there's a specific purpose, and Jeff Niddle is a part of this group, an executive vice chair. He's on the board, the executive committee. Now, is there any surprise that he is so down with the vaccine mandates that he says we're going to do this across the board? Doesn't matter. And we're even going to do it before the ETS comes out from OSHA. We're going to do it right now. That's an Airbus policy. That's not law. He was talking to us about law. What law? Show me the law. In this country, you learn this in high school civics. Only Congress can pass laws, not the president, not the Supreme Court. You learn this. You can look it on Wikipedia. They tell you, Congress, only body that can pass laws. Folks, do yourself a favor. Get familiar with who the enemy is. Jeff Niddle is not our friend. He is not. He is working from another group that's trying to bring or help bring society down. And they're doing it very successfully. Look what these vaccine mandates are doing to our nation. They're creating a caste system. a caste system here in America, a two-tier society. This cannot be allowed. We're Americans. Are we Americans or Americans? What are we?
Americans.
Thank you. Enough is enough already. I've had it, quite honestly. I'm done. We need to... I have to use some of my EQ here I learned a year ago, emotional quotient training. Gotta calm down, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Okay. We have to figure out a way, a decisive way, to beat these people at their own game. Okay? That's what we need to do. I'm not calling for violence. I'm not calling for tarring and feathering. I'm not saying that. But we have to let these people know that we know what their agenda is and they're not going to get away with it. Because we have families, we have kids, we have grandkids that we care about, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. And we care about the kind of country that we're going to leave for them, yeah? And we have to let them know that. All these politicians, you really think they care about us? No. They care about the bread, they care about the moolah, they care about the green. That who's paying them? The George Soros types, the Bill Gates types. Enough's enough. Research the World Economic Forum, research the Atlantic Council, and understand who the real enemy is here in this game. Please.
Hey, do you have, who else? Is there anybody else here from engineering?
Right here.
Okay, all right. I was curious how many of you guys have heard or whatever up there.
There's a little bit more of us, but unfortunately then either they forgot or they chose not to come out today. Sorry guys, took a little bit too long.
Hey, no, you did great.
Fellow citizens, my name is Greg. I come from Romania, been born, grew up, and lived 23 years out of my life in a country with a communist system and dictatorship. I came in the United States about 23 years ago, looking for the country of the free, which it is still, unless we let it go. I never thought in my wildest dreams, that I'm gonna have to face and see this communist claw, which is fixing to take over this beautiful country. I never thought that this can happen in the United States of America. If we don't stand up now, if more of us do not take actions and gather like we do now here, our children, our grandchildren, and grandchildren will be slaves in their own courtyard. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys what I see growing up with the communist system. But one thing I would like to mention here. After the communist system installed their power after the Second World War, back in 1947, it took 15 years to get well organized throughout the whole country. And in 1962, they took all the properties away from Romanian citizens. Keep that in mind. That could very well happen in this country, and we will be forced to give up our rights, our properties, everything else. Keep that in mind. We gotta stand up for, and myself, I'm not gonna live here and see my children become slaves or live their lives the way I grew up. I refuse to do that. We have the rights, we have the law. The more we are, the power of the people change things. Keep that in mind, fellows.
All right, yeah. Amen.